All right, we are back live here for the Ron Clark Academy Amazing Shake from the Gauntlet floor. My name is Kurt Brown, Chief Development and Communications Officer here at RCA.
And I'm Kim Bearden, the co-founder and executive director. And we thought we'd come down live here on the floor so you could see some of the things that our students are engaged in today at the Ron Clark Academy Amazing Shake.
Yes, and the very first one that you see right behind us is the Tonight Show at the Amazing Shake. So the students are walking up here and the host here is saying, hey, how are you doing? Tell me about your grades.
Live on television.
Live on
right,
television. So look, you got to talk about your grades. If they're good, well, maybe that's a good conversation. Maybe not so much if they need a little bit of improvement.
Right, so the Gauntlet is a series of stations where our students have to engage with the different judges. They have to introduce themselves. They have to engage in whatever task has been given to them. Some of the tasks are prepared ahead of time. They know that they're coming. Others are complete surprises. Some of them are very serious about world issues and such, but some of them are just thinking on their feet, and we throw a little fun in there, and we're right here in the middle of the thoroughfare, so you will see some students passing through, which is absolutely fine.
No problem at all.
But we throw some fun things in there as well. Like there's some disco dancing going on over here, and it's not about whether our students can dance at all, but rather how are they engaging with the judge? Are they talking? And they're supposed to be teaching something. And so it's that, are they making the other person feel comfortable? So we do that too, just to kind of get a little bit of their nervous energy out as they are having the more serious conversations.
I mean, at the end of the day, these are middle school students. And so yes, we want to prepare them for life, but also make this a memorable experience for them and a fun one too. So you got to throw some fun ones in there. And like Kim said as well, give them an opportunity to breathe also. Like, hey, let that energy out, let the wiggles out, and then reset for the next one, which could be very, very serious. So.
Right, and if you'll notice our students, they have a card with them. That card is actually given to each judge where they receive a score of 0 to 20 at most of the stations. A couple of stations, they have a chance for even a few more points. Those scores are tabulated, and then we get our top finalists who proceed to the next round. So let's kind of take a walk around. We're going to try our skill at walking backwards for you here and show you a few other things. Now, this takes me back, y'all. So this is Pong, okay?
How many of y'all know about Pong? I don't know.
So I remember Brenda Briggs, first person on my street who had Pong, and we'd go over there and sit for hours. Some of y'all too young to know about that, but very first video game that was ever mainstream. So
yes, so the students have to play this game here with the judges for 3 minutes in 1 minute intervals, but the entire time though, they're having conversation as well. Can you play the game and also be engaging with the judge there?
Right, it's not, look, we've all had that experience when you're trying to talk to somebody and they're so engaged in a video game that they're not paying you any mind. We want to make sure that they are actually engaging with the judge in doing something that's a brand new skill, because that Pong is very, very different. Now we do need to go under this pressure point and take a peek. And so if we could get the camera to maybe show you, in here, there's actually, it looks a little bit like an alien autopsy is taking place in this station right here. And so when the students come in here though, they are asked actual questions about, do you think there are aliens? Is our government telling us all the information that they should be about it? Should they release more of the information than has already been released? This year there was some information that was released, and so somehow if we could get a camera to go on in there and take a look and go on inside there and show them what it looks like in that.
The question too is, if aliens are real, would you allow them to come to Earth? So the question to you who are all watching right now, would you allow aliens to come to Earth? Yes or no? Put that in the comments. Let us know. But you can see David is in here right now engaging with the judge.
So there is fun that is mixed in, obviously, as we said, because who doesn't want to talk about aliens? I know.
Who wants to talk about aliens? I don't know.
Now, there are more serious conversations taking place over on this side of me. For example, there was a professor at NYU that received a lot of criticism and some support because he had written something about how his students did not work hard enough, and that he was tired of the lack of work ethic, and that he thought that we're raising soft generation of students. I'm paraphrasing his words completely, but the students are asked to comment on that. Do they agree with the professor? Because at this school we are very academically challenging. We push our students and we tell them we have very high expectations for them. So these are all very, very important things, so they have to discuss that.
Yeah, they're asking, should the professors whose classes are too difficult have to be removed from their job? So that's a question some college students may say, like, well, this professor is like extremely hard. I can't even pass this class to go on to become a doctor, to go on in my field. Should this professor be moved from their jobs? Should he or should he? I don't know. You let us know in the comments, but our students are answering those questions here today.
Over here, the students are having to talk about a book that they've recently read. Tell me what you're reading. Tell me about the book. So obviously we want our students to be well-read, and so can they talk about that?
Absolutely. So we want our kids, as Kim mentioned, to be well read. So they're being here, but it's more than just being asked about what book you're reading, but then also how do you continue to have conversation?
Right,
as well.
like what are you reading, or
Yeah.
what is your favorite type of literature? What kind of books did you read when you were a child? And then, of course, not just peppering the interviewer with questions, but also engaging in a dialogue about their answers.
That's going to be important between a student receiving 5 points on a station or 20 points. Are they introspective enough, or do they have the wherewithal to say, okay, well, what are you reading? Well, oh, that's an interesting book. How do they continue to keep that conversation going?
Absolutely. And then we also talk about things that are happening around the world, but also in our city. So
Yes.
right over here, they're being asked about the FIFA World Cup.
Yep, the FIFA World Cup is coming to Atlanta. We're hosting that in 2026. And so the students are being able to answer questions about, do they like that the World Cup is coming to Atlanta? How do they feel about that? And also how do they continue to have conversation there at this particular station as well?
We have some big soccer fans here at our school.
Yes.
Now we had a wonderful real estate company, In Town Collective, come and meet with our students. We teach our students financial literacy, world skills here, and so our students learned about the process of how you buy a home.
Yeah.
What factors are important? How do you get that loan? How do you make your down payment? What should you look for when buying a home? So they've learned a lot about real estate because we want to teach our students how to purchase real estate in the future as they grow older. So
Yes.
over here, they're trying to see how they do with their skills as a real estate agent, though. They're trying to sell this house right here. I'm curious what kind of things they will say are actually inside of that house.
Right, exactly. So you see here, if you can get the camera right over here to kind of take a look, we see Will here, and we got our friends from In Town Collective here who actually came to our students, who came to RCA, and gave our students a really great talk about how do you purchase a home, the things to look for. And so they're here today now judging this round, which is really, really cool. But as you see here, the students have to come up, engage, and then sell a house, which is really, really a lot of fun.
And I'm hopeful and really curious if the conversation is talking about, what type of a loan are you going to be receiving? What is your down payment? What is your budget? Those types of questions, because those are things that we're really intentional about making sure our students understand so that homeownership is a possibility for them in the future. So, over here,
right,
the circle of doom. Da, da, da.
Yes. So here are like rapid fire questions about different topics. They could be around politics. They could be around world skills. So the kids are in 60 seconds being asked different questions. It could be about leadership, about HR skills. I mean, in that round, it's a mini circle of doom. Those of you who are familiar with the competition know that in the past, we've had a big circle of doom. This is like a smaller version of that, but it's a staple here in the Amazing Shake.
That's right, those business ethics, and those types of questions that are really hard to answer, and so it's really, really important that they are able to do that on their feet. So Here we have Josiah entering the circle of doom, but we're going to kind of meander through this way, and once again show you how well we can walk backwards and not run at kids. So happening on this main stage right here in a moment, you'll have a student. This is something the students were told they could prep for. Now, as we said before, some of these tasks they know ahead of time are going to happen, and so they were told they have to deliver a 1-minute comedy routine. This would be my downfall.
Mine too.
Yeah. So the thing, though, is not that we're trying to build a school of comedians. Comedians are great, but can you put yourself in an uncomfortable situation for some, a challenging situation? Be prepared, think on your feet, and just go with the flow. Because one of the things that's really important here is that we want the students who do well, they need to be authentic, they need to be themselves. If they're goofy, silly, sometimes we want to see that side of them as well, because we don't want students to come through this whole gauntlet round and be very robotic and very serious, because then you really don't get a sense of who they really are as a student.
There's not a student up there right now, but I want to come over here and talk to Mr. Thompson to kind of hear how he was laughing hysterically. Mr. Thompson, come on over here.
Join us for a moment.
So you're over here at the Laugh Factory.
Yes.
Mr. Thompson, by the way, I know we don't have a lower third, but he's our science teacher here at RCA. He's helping to tabulate the scores. How has this station been going? I saw you over here dying laughing. I think Cyan was up here on the stage, but what has been really funny here?
So some of the kids' personalities are coming out, and they're saying some things that are out of their character, and it's really, really funny. And then we've got some kids that I've always envisioned them to be more just kind of closed up and quiet, and they've just really blossomed and shined, and it's been hilarious to see some of their jokes and their preparation. it's been great. So yeah, a lot of fun.
That is awesome. Exactly what we talk about. This is about preparation, about being poised, and stepping outside of your comfort zone. And so I'm glad to hear that some of the kids are going for it.
I can't wait for you to tell us some of the jokes that they shared.
I've already been running around telling a few people.
Hilarious.
So, what Daniel said was key there, the preparation that was involved, and it's forced them out of their comfort zone. And, you never know. We may have a famous comedian emerge from today. They may have never known it was a talent that they had.
Exactly. They're like, wait, I really enjoyed preparing for that.
Yeah.
I'm going to actually go for it now. So that's really, really cool.
And there is a science to comedy writing, and so there actually is. And so some of the students may have really looked into that, too, the timing and everything. Those are skills that you can learn. A skilled comedian, they know what they're doing, right?
Yes. So right now, some of the stations are a little bit empty for the students' perspective because we gave our judges a break, right? So we're still kind of walk through so you can kind of see some of the things that are happening here. But we gave our judges a break because, look, judging for an hour straight can be a lot. So we got to give them a bathroom break, then they come back, and the competition continues.
Because they're having to exhibit all the skills and making sure that they're keeping eye contact and listening and focusing on what the students are saying. And so it's interesting. So
right over here, this is an art vandalism station right here, and so the students are being asked their thoughts and their viewpoints on like how art should be preserved here. And so we talk a lot about our students about that as well. And so the judge here is asking them a tough question, and they have to give their viewpoint on that as well. So
that's right. They learned about when the artwork was destroyed by tomato soup.
Tomato soup, yep.
Yes, and so did they think that was an appropriate way to demonstrate? And so they have to talk about that and speak to that. And then over here, this is kind of their knowledge of places around the world because the judge is asking them, I'd like to go on a vacation somewhere. Tell me about the different places. What's a warm place that I could go visit? So they have to be able to talk about some of the different locations here because we teach them all about the whole world.
Yep, and then this station right behind here is our TikTok station. And so we talk, the judge is going to be asking the student, hey, should TikTok be banned? The government is trying to ban TikTok in some places. Should they be doing that or not? And so the student has to give their response to that question as well.
Absolutely. And then over here, they're asked about, this is a piece of architecture, is that right? Well, this is about the line. If you have not looked this up, okay, you have to go learn about the line. But first of all, do they even recognize what this is?
Yes. This is in Saudi Arabia, so it's being built in Saudi Arabia, the line, and so the students are asked their viewpoints on that as well. How do they feel about it? Would they go there to visit it? Their conversation skills and how they respond to that, their depth in their response as well is going to be judged here in that particular station.
So when the students are at these stations, they're judged in a variety of things. So the students were taught about the line. Some of them will know what it is. Some of them may forget, may be too nervous to even look at the poster to recognize that that's what's being spoken about. So that's part of it, is the content of their answers, but also, are they leaning in? If they forget something or if they don't know something, how do they handle that situation? I'm not sure what this is, but maybe if you could tell me a little bit more about it, perhaps I could give you, my opinion on it. Or so it's because those are real situations that happen as well. How do they handle the situation no matter what it is?
Yes.
And are they continuing to still use those skills of engaging with the person in a meaningful way?
Yep. So let's keep on walking back here. All right, so this one is the coin station. So the students are being asked about a lot of women in history who are going to be being printed, I guess, on coins. And so the students have to then talk about that, their knowledge about that as well. So
and the women on the coins also asked if they could name a woman who should be also placed on one of our coins. Who should that woman be and why? So that's a wonderful thing as well. One thing I want to mention about our judges that are here today, we have judges from all over Metro Atlanta and even some that have flown in from other states.
Yeah.
Like here we have Andrea Carter from the Hawks Foundation, a phenomenal supporter of the Ron Kirk Academy. It's very, very important that we've got people here from all different backgrounds.
Yes.
And so these judges are able to look for different things that they look for in their organizations. And so it's really important that you teachers, if you are doing the Amazing Shake, none of our teachers are judging this because we're too close to these kids, right? These are people sight unseen who are coming in and meeting our students and what their first impressions are. And it's important. You can go to your local Rotary Club, your civic clubs in the organizations. You can go to certain businesses. There are so many people who want to get involved and engaged engaged in schools, but they're not quite sure how to go about doing it. And this is a great way for them to volunteer their time, but also see the meaningful work you're doing in your school as well.
That's a great point, Kim, that you mentioned about having a diverse group of judges, because the very first year we realized that we looked up and we had a whole bunch of white men here as judges, and we said, okay, how do we diversify this? And so we're very intentional about getting folks from all different types of backgrounds, gender backgrounds, ethnic backgrounds, so that they can be represented here, because the world is diverse, and so the students should know that in the business world, it's not going to be just white men, that it'll be all types of folks. So
exactly, and we also want our students to see themselves in these adults and see these are options for me and these are opportunities for me. Look at the successful people that are in this room. So it's very, very important.
Yep, so let's keep on walking backward this way, past the disco round here. We're going to try to do this without falling. So
here we have Laquan giving a little disco lesson.
This is the disco round here. So he's trying to teach the judge and the folks here how do you do disco dances? So
the obvious thing here, the elephant in the room, is that everybody in this gym, except for me probably, is too young to even remember disco dancing. I actually took disco dance lessons in middle school.
Oh, wow.
I did. Isn't that
I didn't know that was a thing. Wow.
It was a thing. Well, no, we did private. My friends and I, we actually went to a class.
Oh, wow. Excuse me.
So I should be leading this, but
you should be leading this, kid.
But the students were told you need to look into see what disco dancing is, and so the idea was: did they prepare? Did they do some research? Did they learn it? And did they do like Laquan was looking at everyone? He broke it down into small pieces. He was engaging with them. Those are the kind of things we're looking for. Not are you a good dancer, obviously. So if we move right through this way, this is a beautiful setup right here.
Yes. So this is our golf course here. As you see the golf cart coming around, we've got 2 golf carts here, but as we mentioned on the earlier broadcast, they're having to hop on the back and they're having conversation on a golf course. So can you imagine you got 60 seconds to give your elevator pitch or to just talk about life or to talk about interests between you and the person that you're riding on the golf cart with.
We know a lot of deals are made on golf courses, right?
We do know that.
and shout out to Sir and Troy, 2 of our staff members, because they've been driving those carts in circles.
In circles all morning.
All morning long, yes. And looking out for the alligators as well.
Yeah.
And our judges who are sitting on the back, facing backwards, riding in circles all day long. But they actually ride both carts. They jump on, they are interviewed by one judge, and then they jump on the other. And so it's just, are they able to pay attention with all the distractions of movement and just kind of stimulating, because a lot of things do happen on those golf courses.
Yeah, so we'll walk around. This is our Japanese station. We'll walk around to the back so you can kind of see what's happening there. But the students here, when they walk in, the students entering, and the judge is going to be seeing, does the student, first of all, take off their shoes? So let's take a look in here. Does the student...
Could we maybe bring the camera around?
We got Sasipo right here. Taking some video here, but the student is being judged on, do they take their shoe off before they enter?
Because they were told that they needed to research Japanese culture, and so that was important. So did they pay attention to know to do that? And there's some slippers there, and then they're going to go in and learn about a Japanese tea and maybe told about that.
Yes, absolutely. So this is another way to infuse culture, traditions in the Amazing Shake, and to have representation here as well. So that's really, really incredible. I love this particular station. We got a student walking up here now. Go ahead, Olivia. You can walk on through.
Go on through, darling. And then over here, so... If you teach students, and even you adults, many of you know that the new show Wednesday on Netflix is a huge hit, and it's a huge hit with our students. And so in here we have someone portraying Wednesday Addams, and they have to convince Wednesday, who is very sullen and somber, that she does in fact want to go to the Ron Clark Academy. And so they're having to convince her, even though she's not having it.
Right, she's not having it at all. I'm sure that we have a 2-shot up on the screen right now, so you can kind of see Wednesday Addams in there. I mean, she's looking very, very intense right now. So
she's doing a great job
too.
The world, yes. So that's actually one of our 4th graders who is not engaging in the gauntlet this morning, actually portraying Wednesday, and she's killing it. She's a very talented actress, so I love it.
I love that.
Yes, it's wonderful. And then over here we have the Booger Burger.
The infamous Booger
Remember,
Burger.
we're dealing with kids, so you got to throw a little fun in there.
Yes.
Okay. So right here, the students are told that they need to order the special. They come up. The special is very clearly laid out on the menu. they're going to give their money. They're going to be given too much change. Do they even notice that and give the change
Right.
back?
Will they give the change back? That's very important. Do they pay attention to the amount? But then also, the judge is going to be paying attention because this amazing shake, the kids are walking up and introducing themselves. Mm-hmm. Does the kid walk up here and try to introduce himself to the cashier? That's very odd. No one.
If they shake the hand of a food service worker, you don't do that because they got to keep their hands clean. It just doesn't work.
It just doesn't work. So the judge is paying attention to those subtleties as well.
But we're very intentional here. When we take our students to restaurants and we talk and teach them this, that it's very important that when they are being waited on at a table, that they stop, that they show respect to the waiter, the waitress, they look them in the eyes, they give their order. Ron and I have this theory that every person on the planet should have to have at least one time that they work as a waiter or a waitress, because we've both done it. It really teaches you a lot about customer service and respecting those customer service workers who do such a good job.
A great job, yep. So we'll keep on walking back here, past Booger Burger, try to walk backwards here. And then there is another station here where we're talking about the world. Does events like the World Cup, does that bring folks together or does that bring division? So the kids are having to answer that question about the World Cup and about just large sporting events. Does that bring folks together or does it cause division? So the kids have to kind of give their perspective on that question.
And then they have a station where they're asked, what do they think is one of the greatest issues affecting the world today? And then obviously, how do they think that we could provide a solution for that? And so, and also they're asked some follow-up questions about what is happening in the Ukraine. And then if you look around, there's something called First Impression Lane, and in that place, it is actually that. It is the very first impression. So as the students are there, they are seated and they're just asked a lot of questions about themselves, who they are, as if it were a job interview.
Yeah.
Yes, and so that can be challenging too.
Yeah, that's very important. So as you see here, there's a variety of different stations here in the gauntlet, some fun ones, some ones that they can prepare for, but then some serious ones as well. Tell me about yourself. Tell me about your knowledge about current events, things that are happening in the world. So it's a wide range of things to kind of test the skills. Some kids will do very well in some of these stations. Some kids will do very well in other ones. And so it gives all kids an opportunity to succeed here.
And I think that's a really good point. So for those of you educators who are thinking about doing an amazing shake, first of all, if you did not hear, we do have information for you for free, theamazingshake.com. Schools everywhere, all around our country and around the world, are actually implementing these programs in their schools. But we have a starter kit for you that actually has ideas, challenges, things that you can do in your own school.
Yes.
If you follow the hashtag Amazing Shake or The Amazing Shake, you will see schools all over how they've replicated, but also creative, clever ideas that they have used for their interview sessions.
Yes.
We change this every year.
Yeah.
And so we want it to be something that's always a little bit of a surprise, but also some things that they know just require that preparation,
Yep.
but also that it really exhibit a lot of different skills. I think that's important because there's different personality types, and we want everybody to have stations where they know that they will shine brightly.
They will shine and thrive and do well. And so that's important for y'all to think about. That website, again, is theamazingshake.com. And again, on that website, you can find all the resources to do your very own Amazing Shake competitions at your school. And again, as a reminder, we're having the national competition or the global competition.
We call it the national competition, but we have had students from around the world, and we welcome them. One of our winners was from Honduras.
Was from Honduras, a 2020 Global Amazing Shake champion. And so that's going to be happening here at the Ron Clark Academy, March 17th through the 19th. Right here at RCA, 4th through 8th graders have the opportunity to apply and to be a part of that.
First time we've ever had 4th grade students. That's a new announcement for you elementary school teachers because you have asked and asked, and so we said, okay, let's do it. So we have added the 4th grade. Students who come here for that weekend, they will have the opportunity to learn, to be coached in several ways, but also to compete, to engage with students from around the country. And then we name our national, global Amazing Shake champion. And so it's a wonderful opportunity. Many schools send people here. They send several students sometimes. You can choose which students from your school are able to come. And there are so many businesses and corporations and foundations that are willing to sponsor this type of an activity because we're really raising students to be successful in the future. And so there's so many schools that have really been able to be very successful in raising funding to be able to come here to the Academy.
Yes, folks are definitely interested. These are employability skills that we are teaching our students and that corporations have an interest in. And so they definitely want to invest in this. And so reach out to your local businesses to help to get the funding that you need, to have your own, and to also come to the global competition. But your local Chamber of Commerce as well, they are a great resource. This falls right in line with their initiatives. And so make sure you reach out to those folks in your community as well.
That's absolutely right. And so finally, we want to tell you that what's happening after this. The students, as we're wrapping up the gauntlet, those scores are being tabulated. We have a room full of math teachers and accountants doing it right now. And they have a whole section set up.
Spreadsheets and laptops and all kinds of things.
It's very official. And then we will be announcing the top 30 students. The students will also receive feedback from the judges about things that they did well, but also things that they could work on to do better at. There will be certain students that get shout outs because somebody absolutely blew a judge away. We ask the judges to make note of those students so that we're aware of it. And then those top 30 students will be whisked away to Alston and Bird, one of our sponsors for today, where they will have a work the room challenge. Throughout the course of this afternoon, they will be narrowed down so that we will have different students throughout the course of the afternoon coming back to the school, being eliminated, but the top 8 students will be whisked to New York City tonight, and then they will continue with challenges tomorrow.
Continuing challenges, the very first challenge tomorrow morning is going to be with Gail King, and then they'll have a whole bunch of different challenges throughout the day in New York City, where then the next morning we'll name the top 2 students who will fly back to Atlanta, pick their team of 8 students here at RCA, and then the top 2 teams are going to be competing at Sonny's Barbecue, where they'll have to manage the entire restaurant. One team from 5 to 7, and the second team from 7 to 9. Thereafter, on Friday morning, we'll have our 2023 Amazing Shake champion.
That's right. So those 2 students will select their teams. They'll have to lead their teams. They'll have to run a restaurant, something they have never done before. How well do they handle that? It'll be beautiful. So we do want to thank, we have so many volunteers who are here today from all over who have been supportive, and we have parent volunteers. Parent volunteers are not the judges, but they're helping escort the students from station to station.
Yes.
And so many major companies here in Atlanta have helped us. So we encourage you, educators who are watching, to go for this. There are so many businesses in your community who want to have students who know how to do these things. They want them to know how to give that handshake, how to engage, how to use those soft skills. And so you'd be surprised at how often they're willing to come on and give support for a program like this in your community. So we thank ours. We're going to be showing you some really, really incredible things. We don't want to give away all the secrets.
I know.
But we're going to be in some wonderful places today, and our kids are going to have life-changing opportunities.
Yes, and I want to give another shout out to our sponsors for this year's RCA Amazing Shake. I want to give a shout out to Alston and Bird, who is our sponsor this year, and also Sonny's Barbecue, who is our other sponsor this year for the Amazing Shake. The Work the Room Challenge is going to be happening right after this particular round. It's going to be at Alston and Bird, and then as you heard, Sonny's Barbecue will be the final round. So I want to give a shout out to those 2 sponsors. We have some other great partners who you'll see throughout the day as we post online, who are helping to come on board to host different challenges at these top corporations. So I want to give a shout out to them as well.
And so give shout outs to your favorite student. If you've been here as an educator, you remember some of the kids, give them words of
shout out your classes as well.
Yes,
class of 2024, 2023.
Right.
Shout out your classes in your houses.
And then also mamas and daddies and aunties and grandmamas, make sure you comment, because your student will have the opportunity to go back later and see this. This will be posted later, so it will be up so that you can share it with others, so that you can get an idea, or they can get an idea of the kinds of things that we're doing here at the Academy.
All right, so that is going to be it from the Gauntlet floor here at the Amazing Shake. In just a little bit, we're going to come back live again, where we're going to be having our announcement of the top 30 students. It's going to be a great moment, lots of fanfare and excitement. So we're going to be seeing which students are going to be moving on to the next round in the 2023 RCA Amazing Shake. All right, that's going to be it. We'll be back live in just a little bit. We'll see you in a little bit.
Thank you.